Hey guys, I got another art video here for you. I tried to do some gameplay for like 6 hours of Terraria, and almost none of it is interesting, almost none of it is usable, and I don't know, I'm not a very interesting or entertaining person to watch gameplay of. So I think for now, I'm just going to stick with art. Hopefully it'll at least be a little interesting because you can see the stuff I've made at the end. I don't really have many people watching either, so screaming into the void as usual. Hello, void. A bit of a ramble. I don't really have any topics to talk about. I'm just kind of filling some audio just so I have something here, so it's not completely pointless. This was a fun drawing to work on, though. I was going at it for about 2 hours. I didn't really want to color it. I didn't want to do anything too crazy, just get a nice, simple drawing done. That's kind of how it goes when I do some of the more safe for work stuff. I try to take it easy and just make something pretty straightforward. I went with the classic corset and big titties here, because that's always a fun look. Added the skull on for good measure, gave it little horns. Made it look, not super friendly, but, also pretty soft, and anyone would enjoy spending some time with this demon-looking chick. I'm really bad at the whole talking thing, and looking at the waveform is really awful, because I seem to, pause every couple seconds. I go like, oh yes, I am saying 5 words now, and then I'm pausing. It sounds like it's for dramatic effect, but I actually just pause because I have to think of new words. I don't know. Hopefully I work on that at some point. Maybe it'll just get better the more I speak, the more I talk. Maybe if I just criticize myself for it, it'll go away. Who knows? Or better yet, maybe I'll actually have a script one day and just read 10,000 lines in 10 minutes or some nonsense like that. And maybe then it'll sound okay. And maybe then I'll be able to do better balancing and editing so my pacing isn't just a complete mess. But I guess that's plans for the future. For now, just having a drawing and talking about it. This skull took me quite a while to get right. I had to look up a couple references. And as you can see, my original idea of what a skull looked like was completely off, especially on the teeth. Teeth are not easy. And I always think there's like 1 billion of them in there, but it's only really 20 some odd, 30 some odd, somewhere in that range. I'm not an anatomy expert. It's a good thing I'm not a dentist, otherwise we'd be doomed. Or maybe I'd actually know what teeth look like, either way. I probably could have filled things in a little easier, but it's always good to just smack it down with a brush and call it a day. The twist on these horns took me not too long. It's always nice to just add a little bit of detail to something by adding a spiral on it. Give it a couple indentations too, make it really stand out. It worked pretty well. That's definitely another thing that I would probably do a little differently if I drew this again. I'd go find some references of horns and actually do a horn instead of just a little twirly thing. At this point, I decided that I liked how the skull looked, and I wanted to refine the body. So rather than going through and erasing a bunch of lines, I just duplicated the layer and made it transparent. That way I would still have the line work and I could just go from there, rather than pixel pushing it a little bit smaller to match. A lot of this still came together pretty quickly. I guess that's the nice thing. When you have a decent sketch down, you can just slap down the rest of the detail and kind of call it a day. I didn't end up beating things up like I did with the previous drawing, just because it didn't quite match the style I was going for here. Although I did end up adding a lot of texture to the glove where, the glove tore as the claws came out. I don't know, it's always nice to add just a little bit of story to this sort of thing. Although I definitely could have thinned out the fingers a bit more, made them look a little more gaunt. But, ideas for next time, I guess. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about, I guess just leave it in the comments. Until then, I'm just going to be rambling for 10 minutes every video, because I'm really bad at organizing topics and figuring out what I want to say beforehand. I mean, I knocked myself 30 seconds ago for my stutters, my repetition, and my ums and uhs. So, yeah, hopefully I do better at some point. Or maybe someone thinks it's charming, and they'll just go oh wow. I like listening to this guy, because he sounds like a fucking idiot. And he does voices every 3 seconds when he mocks himself and other people. It's great. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing with it. I'll definitely still be drawing, though. Drawing's pretty good. Maybe one day I'll actually be able to do some kind of gameplay and make it entertaining. probably won't be a straight up Let's Play, just because, you know, as I mentioned, I'm not a very reactive person. I tend to have very dull, emotionless reactions. Horror doesn't really scare me. Although I can definitely get jump scared. I've had people get me to do a little fucking hot before, but that's all they really get. I don't scream. I'm just like, oh, you're there. I didn't expect that. At the same time, right, I say this like it's interesting, but humor just knocks me the fuck out. Like, it is so easy to get me to laugh. You don't even have to try. You just make, like, a lame attempt at a joke and it'll probably get me. Turns out when you start cutting audio out like crazy because you're just umming and awing every 3 seconds, you tend to lose a lot of time. So at this point, I'm just filling a bit more time discussing it a bit more. I didn't like how I was talking about a lot of the art stuff, so I'm going to work on that topic a bit more here. The corset definitely took me a while. I had to look up a decent corset design, so when I drew it, it could be visually appealing. I added a lot of borders, added the classic like straps to the front of it, just to give it a little more shape so you could see like where the curves are just a little bit better. I ended up adding a lot of the rib lines too, just because that also accentuates the shape, makes it look real nice. For the future, I'm definitely going to have to figure out what I want to talk about beforehand, because having to resync all this time with extra audio is not the easiest thing in the world, especially when I'm short on topics in the first place. I ended up going for a lot of the like single color shading, so it's either a filled line or not filled, at least in the line work. I originally wasn't going to color this at all, but I ended up going with a lot of flat colors and simple shading. You'll see that later on in the video, but I think it worked out pretty well for this drawing. Or, you know, I guess if you've seen the actual drawing already, you probably know what I'm going to go for. So, I don't really need to tell you what I'm going to do, because I've already done it. But yeah, it was definitely a fun piece to work on. I was going to try to do some cross-hatching, as you see here, but I ended up just skipping that and going for the more smooth overall look. So when I did the shading later, it would work a little easier. Here, I'm still roughing up the gloves a little bit, just messing with the tips, resizing the hand, because it wasn't the right size at all. Yeah, adding a couple holes too, to the little arm things. Arm sleeves are always nice, especially with little holes in them, especially in this kind of thing. Man, this recording's getting like really annoying, because when I try to re-record sections, they're not timed properly with the video, because for some awful reason, the video isn't managing to play back at the full speed. So yeah, I guess anytime I mentioned any sort of time, any sort of that whole area, it's just completely wrong. And that's fantastic. If you can't tell, I'm getting pretty frustrated by this, because every program seems to be against making this video. But hey, we're almost done here. I got another about minute to fill, so yeah. I don't know. Hopefully next time I can make it a little cleaner. I'm not sure if I need to just type a script out, figure out exactly when things need to be said, and then maybe I can make it work out better. But yeah, I guess that's just a lesson everyone else has learned, and I have to do this the hard way, because that's just how it goes the first couple times. Anyway, to the like 1 or 2 viewers that are here, glad you sat around for this horrible rambling that I'm doing. Maybe it makes a little more sense to you than it does to me. I don't know how that'd be possible, but hey, there's always a chance. Yeah, if you have anything you want me to talk about, as I mentioned before, just let me know. Slap down a comment down there. Tell me you hate the video, because I fucking hate the video too. And then let me know what you want me to talk about. Maybe if you have an idea for a general topic, or if you want me to give a little tutorial on something, I can probably manage that. But yeah, I guess this is the end of the video here. I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully, at least one of you enjoyed this absolute mess of a video.